Well, it's finally time for me to build a home server, and this is going to be it. I have a lot of really good candidate machines, from this Dell to this HP to any of these laptops or even any of these mini PCs right here. If I wanted to, I could even virtualize it on my main system. But I am choosing this tiny NUC 5 with an i7 5th generation from late 2015, 2016 for one simple reason, and that is power efficiency. This little guy at idle pulls less than 10 watts, which means I'm going to be able to try something exciting. I'm going to try and run my entire server architecture on that, with, of course, an inverter system. This specific system has an i7 5557U processor. Yeah, I hadn't heard of this one either. It's a mobile chip on Broadwell architecture, 14 nanometer, 2-core, 4-thread. And that is really all that it can do. But according to the specifications for this computer, its standard TDP is only 28 watts. So rather than this going in a trash bin, it's going to get some upgraded parts, a Ubuntu installation, and Kubernetes cluster. So to start, we're just going to open this thing up. It has been on the shelf for a very, very long time, so I don't really remember what is in here, but I know it's not great. So we're just going to open this up and take this entire panel and move it to the side. This is where our 2.5-inch drive bay is going to be. And as we can see here, this looks like an 8GB stick of DDR4 12800, which is really slow memory compared to today's standards. But I happen to have a significant amount of DDR3 memory, given that it has been a very long time since I've needed DDR3. But I was able to find a matching stick of the Samsung Eco memory at the same speed. So we're going to go ahead and install that right there, bringing this up to 16 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. And if we look in here, we have our integrated Wi-Fi card right there, and we even have an M.2 drive bay with a standoff that can be moved. I have this 256 gig NVMe drive. That is one that is slightly shorter than what was in here before. So we are going to move this entire standoff just a little bit closer. We'll start by taking that screw out and then grabbing some pliers. We will grab onto that and we are going to rotate until it twists ever so slightly so we can then spin it with our fingers. And then after putting that screw back in there, probably should just have left it in there to begin with, going to insert that standoff back in there and use the screwdriver to tighten it all the way in place, following up with some pliers real quick. Giving that the extra quarter turn, and then we're going to take that out, just the screw, and we are going to take our NVMe drive bay, going to slot it in there and down like so, and then taking that screw, we are going to set it in place and tighten. All right, perfect. Now we have our SSD in here, as well as 16 gigabytes of RAM. And while I have this open, even though this is fine, I'm also just going to add this drive just to have a little extra capacity and a secondary drive to work with. And while I could secure this properly in here, I can also just slide this in and seat it into the slot. And that's fine. And then we will take this cover, flip it back over, and we will tighten these screws back in place. This little NUC 5 is from 2015 and has actually really good I/O for the size. We have gigabit Ethernet, USB 3.1, DisplayPort, mini HDMI, our power, and on the other side we have 2 more USB ports and a headphone audio combo jack. And then our power button is right along the top. But now to prep this for install. This has our Ubuntu image on it. This is 24.043, I believe. We're just going to insert that right here. We're going to take our mini HDMI, install that right there. This is a converter, so I can use standard HDMI. I'm going to set our power dock right here. We're going to be using this Ryobi style 18-volt battery. This is a 8 amp hour, and we're going to be using this dock right here as our inverter. And here we've got our little Intel NUC all ready to go. We have our mini HDMI. We have our power right here. Plug in our keyboard right here. We're going to turn that on. Check our battery power. 3. All right. We're going to plug in our device. We should get a buzzing or humming. Oh, we are. For these Intel NUC models, after the initial power light, it takes about 10 seconds, and then you can push it again. I guess it's like charging capacitors or something. All right, one more. All right, our keyboard has lit up. Keyboard on. Oh, Intel NUC. And we're going to go straight into setup. There we go. I'm going to go into advanced mode. We can see our very unique CPU. All of our memory is showing up. That is perfect. There are a lot of configuration options in here, and I don't really know what to go with. But one thing we are going to do is go into our power settings. And we actually have the option to limit our power here, which is so cool, which is going to be really great. And we're going to make sure it is on a high efficiency performance mode. And we're going to go into balanced for that one. And the other setting, because this is going to be a server, we want, after a power failure, for it to turn right back on. That is going to be amazing. And then from here, we're going to hit F10. And now we're going to install Ubuntu. And then the fun part of any OS installation, the waiting. And now our tiny little server is running, still off of this battery. I know the monitor isn't running off of this, but once we get this set up, we won't need the monitor, and we'll just SSH into the thing while it's in low power mode. Okay, the power draw stopped. You got to hear that kick off while it's still up. That's so cool. So I guess installation pulled a little bit more power, but onto the server. Here we are, Ubuntu 24.04.3. Eventually, this is all going to be on hardware, but we're going to connect this to Wi-Fi for now. We're going to open up our terminal, and now we're going to install some updates. All right, and everything is showing up as it should in HTOP. That is perfect. The system we will be running is K3S. This is a specific Kubernetes distribution that is really great, and that is the entirety of the command to install the entire thing right there. It is now the next day, and I am SSH'd into this server from offsite. And we do have additional services running on this machine already, but we can see that the utilizations are still really, really low. For our K3S installation, we are going to see everything that is running here, and we can see what is running on this system right now. We have Home Assistant, we have Audio Bookshelf, we have NetData, and we're about to add Jellyfin. And I'm going to be using ChatGPT to give me commands for my YAML files. If you're not familiar with the terminology, I would not suggest inputting any of these codes if you don't know what they are, but I've already gone through and verified this is what I need. We're going to create our namespace, copy our permissions for the directory, going to copy the contents of our YAML files, and we're going to create the YAML file using nano jellyfin YAML. We're going to paste that information in here, all of that, just like that, and review all of this. Make sure there aren't any weird tags or things calling out to places outside of your own network. Control O, we're going to save, and we are going to exit. Then we are going to apply that code, like so, and then it is open. That's really all that we need to do. We are going to confirm that the service is running, and look, there it is. We're going to pop over to our web browser. We're going to type in our address, and look at that, Jellyfin is now established on this server. And if we run this command one more time, we see our services that are running, and now we have Jellyfin running here on our KS3 system. And I know we're not actually running any systems, but if we look back over at our utilization, still with just 2 threads, 4 cores, that is still really quite amazing. But that is how you set up your own little server so that it can run from a battery.